Now, major escalation has taken place in the Israel-Hamas war overnight. Israeli military says it's expanding its operations in Gaza, and ever since the area is witnessing heavy bombardment. Amidst all of this, the UN has adopted a resolution that calls for an immediate humanitarian truce. In the latest new footage released by Israeli army shows IDF Merkava tanks maneuvering and shooting inside Gaza overnight, including daylight footage from earlier this morning. IDF says that they have eliminated the commander of the naval force of the Gaza brigade using fighter jets. The IDF also announced that they have killed the head of Hamas's aerial array. Now, according to a poll conducted by an Israeli newspaper, around 49% of Israelis do not want the nation to go ahead with the offensive. And as per the poll, 29% of Israelis agreed, while 22% were undecided. Now, these poll results contrasted with another poll conducted on October 19th that found 65% support for a major ground offensive. Israelis were also seen heading to prayers at the border area between Israel and Lebanon, with tensions between the two nations escalating. Taliban's acting interior minister has condemned Israel and has called it a crime against the people of Palestine. Saudi Arabia has meanwhile warned US that Israel's invasion of Gaza could be catastrophic. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has now spoken to his Israeli counterpart, Yoav Gallant. Austin underscored the importance of protecting civilians during the Israel Defense Forces operations. He also focused on the urgency of humanitarian aid for civilians in Gaza. Meanwhile, internet access and the phone network have also been completely cut across the Gaza Strip. Palestinians, aid groups, news and civil society organizations have all lost touch with family and local staff in Gaza. The Palestinian Red Crescent says disruption affects the central emergency number and hinders the arrival of ambulance vehicles to the wounded in the ongoing strikes. On the other hand, the WHO has said that the organization has lost touch with their local staff in Gaza. Several United Nations agencies also report that they have lost contact with their local staff, as most of the communication capabilities of the enclave appear to have been interrupted. Israeli military has said that it cannot guarantee safety of journalists in Gaza. And while all of this is happening, the United Nations has adopted a resolution by a large majority. It calls for an immediate humanitarian truce in Gaza. It's, however, a non-binding resolution and has been criticized by Israel and the United States for failing to mention Hamas. The resolution garnered 120 votes in favor and 14 members have voted against it. It also witnessed 45 abstentions. Hamas has welcomed the UN General Assembly call, while Israel's ambassador has called it infamy. US also called the Gaza resolution deeply flawed. Now, in other updates, the Israeli military has accused Hamas of using the main hospital in Gaza as a shield for its tunnels and operational centers. Israel's chief military spokesman showed photographs, diagrams and audio recordings in a press conference that he said showed how Hamas was using the Al-Shifa hospital in particular to hide a variety of command posts and entry points into the extensive tunnel network. Hamas has, however, rejected these claims. Now, for more on this, we spoke to Professor James A. Russell. He's an associate professor in the Department of National Security at the Naval Postgraduate School. Listen in.
I think it illustrates very clearly that the conflict has gone global, which is to say that it is drawing global reactions from around the world. Those global reactions are creating pressures in and of themselves that are, I think, intended to shape decision-making on the ground, most particularly by the Israelis, but also by the United States. The Washington Post, for example, recently reported that the United States, while voting against the resolution, is now in favor of a humanitarian pause. In other words, the overwhelming expressions of sentiment for some kind of humanitarian-based ceasefire is globally based. And it seems to me this is founded on with the justified concern over the horrific deaths of innocent civilians that are piling up on the Palestinian side. The Palestinians now estimate there are over 7,000. And President Biden questioned these numbers the other day, and the Palestinians promptly produced the names of the people that are dead. I mean, this is a horrific kind of a situation, and I think it clearly demonstrates the need for some kind of pause. And I also might add that it also